Yeah, yeah. No. Yes. Maybe. Yeah. So.
Anthony Joshua has reportedly joined Oleksandr Usyk during training camp as preparations continue for a possible clash with Rico Verhoeven. Meanwhile, Rico is also fully focused on the challenge, working on adapting his kickboxing experience into a pure boxing style as he prepares to face one of the sport's most skilled champions. Fabio Wardley admitted that the idea of Oleksandr Usyk facing Rico Verhoeven feels a bit underwhelming to him, saying he expected Usyk to continue facing established professional boxers at the highest level. Wardley also acknowledged that he is not deeply familiar with Rico's kickboxing achievements, but expressed hope that Usyk will return to fighting elite boxing opponents after this matchup.
What was your reaction when you saw that's the direction Usyk was going down?
Yeah, look, I think it was the same as kind of the rest of the boxing world. It was quite underwhelming. I even said it myself, I understand that he's kind of earned the right to do what you want, but I at least expected it to be some sort of active boxer, someone of some... Not to say I don't actually know much about Verhoeven in terms of a kickboxer, of what his quality level is, but what I'm saying is I expected it to be someone of a decent caliber of a professional boxer. But if it's not, then fine. Look, do your thing, do you, and hopefully he returns to actual professional boxing against some of the top elites.
Tony Bellew believes a fight between Oleksandr Usyk and Rico Verhoeven could be awkward in the early rounds because of Rico's unusual style and kickboxing background. However, Bellew feels that once Usyk adjusts and understands the rhythm of the fight, his superior boxing skills, movement, and experience would eventually allow him to take control and dominate the matchup.
He's been doing easy touch, hasn't he, for a while.
Well, he fought you.
I don't want to say he's an easy touch. I think it'll be really interesting for about 6 or 7 minutes. I think 1 or 2 rounds. And then I think once he figures him out, because he's going to be an absolute nightmare to prepare for. He's going to be throwing punches from all kinds of mad angles. He's going to be doing things that he should never be doing. He'll be really awkward, really crazy for the first few rounds. And then I think he'll figure him out and then he'll punish him.
Derek Chisora explained that fighting Oleksandr Usyk requires a completely different mentality, saying a boxer must be fully committed and mentally ready for a very demanding battle. According to Chisora, Usyk's focus, discipline, and determination separate him from most fighters, which is why he is considered one of the toughest challenges in boxing today.
Listen, what I'm saying is this, yeah. To beat Oleksandr Usyk, you have to be mentally disturbed in your head, yeah?
You have to be mentally disturbed.
Yeah, because you have to understand.
Well, to take the fight in the first place.
Yeah, because when I saw him a couple months ago,
yeah,
I had a coffee with him with this chat. The guy lives in Ukraine.
Yep.
Yeah. He goes, oh, before I came on the plane, I was sleeping in my house, and then the missiles were going over my house, and I didn't want to go in the bunker. I was like, I'll just go to sleep. There's some craziness, isn't it? I mean, like, imagine you now, you're in your house in Barna, Timbuktu, and then missiles are going. What are you gonna be like?
Yeah, he's cut from very different stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then remember, so you have to come in there looking to go to the other side, because he's looking to go to the other side.
Several boxing analysts have also shared strong reactions and surprising predictions regarding the potential showdown between Oleksandr Usyk and Rico Verhoeven, with opinions across the boxing world continuing to spark major debate.
I've no issue with the event. I have no issue with the fight. But it's ludicrous that the WBC title is on the line. Sonny Liston, here's the champions that have held the WBC heavyweight title in line. Sonny Liston, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, George Foreman, Ken Norton, Larry Holmes, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Frank Bruno, Vitaly Klitschko, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, now Oleksandr Usyk. If for any reason,
I tell you the one thing they've got right. The one thing they've got right is they recognise that Oleksandr Usyk is the best heavyweight in the world.
I think we all recognise.
Right, so regardless of what belt everybody else has got,
but it doesn't need to be for the WBC
so
belt.
they're saying, no, we're sticking with the champion. We're sticking with the champ because he's the man. And that's what they're doing. They're sticking with the man that they recognise as the best heavyweight fighter in the world.
And some of you might be right here. You're like, oh, 1 second. Oleksandr Usyk's done everything asked of him, whether that be as an amateur, whether that be in the cruiserweight division, and so far in the heavyweight division. Give him one. And I kind of see the argument for that. Look, I'm not saying I like it. I kind of see the argument for it. Tyson Fury had one, didn't he? Tyson Fury had a knock against Francis Ngannou as a heavyweight champion. So I don't see much difference between that and this, although that got critiqued as well. AJ, I guess, had one against Jake Paul. Again, I didn't see... I mean, people were complaining, but he still went and did it. So, look, Oleksandr Usyk has entertained me for nearly a decade, and I always find it difficult, and I think I said this before in a video, I find it difficult to say anything negative about Oleksandr Usyk, anything negative at all. Would I like him to stay more busy? Yes. Would I like him to fight the next man up? Absolutely. But I don't think I'm going to crucify him for doing this.
I think Rico's gonna have to boot him in leg or something though. If he wants to get any sort of advantage over him. No one can beat Usyk in a boxing fight. I don't care who you are. No one on this planet. He's the best heavyweight on this planet, and he's the best heavyweight of his era. If guys like Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua can't put a dent in him, no one's going to be able to put a dent in him, I'm afraid. So yeah, Rico will have to throw a few leg kicks if he wants to get one over on him there. But again, Rico's a legend of kickboxing. Guys like that who have paved the way in kickboxing and have been the goats of their generation, they deserve to get these paydays and these sort of chances to showcase what they can do and just to promote themselves and to get some big money and stuff. So yeah, it'd be nice to see, to be fair.
The announcement heard round the world. Oleksandr Usyk, WBC champion, defending his title, his heavyweight crown against Rico Verhoeven. Rico Verhoeven!
Tend to see a little bit more enthusiasm about this. I think most of the folks on the MMA side that I've seen, again, it's very anecdotal. I've not run research. They seem to like it quite a bit. On the boxing side, they're real unhappy. They don't like this one at all. So there's a big divide between the two. Why? Well, number one, as I just mentioned, the WBC title is up for grabs. These sanctioning bodies, bro, they're just so pathetic. By what reason would you ever grant Rico Verhoeven, by the way, this will be his second pro fight in boxing ever, he has won prior to this, a world title opportunity? It just makes no sense whatsoever. And I think a lot of boxing fans, there were times where, by the way, the WBO was threatening to strip Usyk, and there were questions about, what kind of fight was he going to take. Personally, I feel like the guy has earned an opportunity to go get a payday. There are other fights for him to have taken, and what I'm seeing is that the boxing fans kind of wanted him to go down that road. They don't care about him fighting a guy who is, in all likelihood, hopelessly overmatched. But nevertheless, me personally, hey, listen, is there a fight out there that I really need to see him in, that just, that an itch that has not been scratched? Deontay Wilder, or another fight with Fury, or Anthony Joshua, or Dubois? Not really. I mean, I know there are some heavyweight fights going on out there. Fabio Wardley's got a fight coming up and whatnot, but I don't know. It's just, no. This is, to me, I understand if you're a boxing fan, this is why on earth would you care about this? But as someone who comes from the more MMA side, and kickboxing is closer to MMA as a community, as a culture, than it is the boxing side of things. I'm not saying that kickboxing is not closer to boxing in terms of the techniques used as a sport. It's in a ring, there's similar kinds of gloves, there's no takedowns, blah, blah, blah. But culturally, kickboxing is closer to MMA, which is why I think you're seeing some of the split reaction.
I'm not so mad at the fight. In fact, I think the fight is going to be a fun one. I think Usyk's probably going to wash Rico, but hey, you never know. Francis walked in there, knocked down Tyson, jiggled his balls in his face, and ended up almost beating him. So yeah, I'll watch this. It's an entertainment fight. It's a crossover fight, and while I think that Oleksandr Usyk has bigger fish to fry in the heavyweight division, when KBL is a mandatory, I thought, for Oleksandr Usyk, there is, for other sanctioning bodies like the WBO, you have Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois. You have that fight about to happen, so the winner of that is going to, I thought, fight Usyk. And then you have Tyson Fury waiting in the wings. There's Moses Italma waiting in the wings. There's a lot of odd stuff happening here.
Oleksandr Usyk has delivered every single fight that us fans have demanded from him. And some he's delivered twice over. If he wants to have a little bit of fun with a legend from a different combat discipline in an unbelievable setting for a boatload of cash, crack on, pal. But the fact that the WBC will reportedly sanction this as the heavyweight championship of the world is absolutely diabolical. They have an interim champion in Ajit Kabayel. They have 15 ranked fighters that have been paying their sanctioning fees. To completely overlook them and entertain this is exactly why I supported Terence Crawford and Shakur Stevenson for not paying their WBC sanctioning fees. They make it up as they go along, and boxing doesn't need them.